Live from Carborough, folks, it is the Chris or Jenny Show, featuring Deej and starring Willa Brigham on WCOM. Good evening, friends.
Good evening, enemies.
Deej.
Chris, it's good to be back.
In studio.
It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute.
Will, did you get your friend squared away there?
I did.
All right,
I sent her
we're all set.
confirmation.
Will's got a friend listening, Deej.
Oh, what's her name?
Her name is Linda Rogers.
Hi, Linda Rogers.
Thanks to Linda Rogers, our audience is double what it normally
Wow.
is.
It's tripled somehow.
Okie dokie.
What a guest tonight, Deej. What a guest.
Who is it?
This is probably the most decorated guest we've ever had on this show.
I think so. No offense, other guests.
No offense. We've had some good folks on here, but tonight, everybody, we have two-time Emmy Award winner.
Wow.
Zora Neale Hurston Award winner. Lots of awards.
Wow.
She has more awards than I have, just things I entered to begin with.
It's only a 55-minute show.
Let's just get in. Let's get in. Let's stop wasting time, Deej.
Let's
get to the guest. Willa Brigham.
Hey, welcome, Willa.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Willem, sorry I botched the introduction a little bit.
They can look me up.
They can look her up.
We'll
They
get
can
it in
look you
post.
up. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
We're so happy to have you. Deej, I first heard about Willa because she is a lot of things. A storyteller, speaker, a motivational speaker. I want to get into the Emmys, but I heard about her because she's doing an event at McDougal Elementary.
Correct.
Where my daughter goes.
Yes.
Can we start there, Willa?
I'll be telling stories. I got the most wonderful call. Hey, we would love to have you at our school. And I said, and I would love to be there.
Yes.
Very nice.
Fantastic. And when is that? I know it's coming up soon because it's part of Black History Month.
Monday. McDougal?
McDougal Elementary,
Monday. Yes,
Monday. It's about 2 miles from here.
Oh, okay. So I'll be back in this area.
After the show, we can go over there and just go see. I tell you, those teachers work so hard. Some of them are probably still there.
I bet. Now, this isn't public admission, just to be clear. You have to actually be a student at
Or
McDougal.
parent.
Or parent or
We
guardian.
should clarify that.
Yes.
This is for the student body and their parents.
That is
It's a very exclusive affair.
that one is anyway.
Willa Brigham, welcome. We are excited to have you here. You live in Cary, but you grew up not in Cary, in Alabama.
Tuskegee, Alabama, home of George Washington Carver, the peanut before Jimmy.
Nice.
Tuskegee Airmen, Lionel Richie, Commodores.
Love it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a
And-
pretty cool place.
Yeah.
When they're interviewed, they're like, and Willa Brigham's from here, too.
Yeah.
No, they're probably thinking, oh, which one was that?
Well, not after tonight, they're not.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so kind.
You get back down to Alabama much?
Yes, my mother is there. My mother is an entity all by herself. My mother's 97 years old, drives a truck, and has a paper route.
Wow.
I love it.
Is that too cool?
That's wonderful. You got to keep doing stuff like that when you know.
As you mature, and when people ask her age, she would say, age is just a number and mine is unlisted. Wait a minute. And just yesterday she says, and now I just lie. I said,
love it.
Mother, you church-going woman, you lie? She says, and I laugh to myself when I do it.
I love it,
She
Willa.
says, it's none of their business. She says, once upon a time, women would knock you out if you asked them their age.
Oh, my goodness.
It was an insult.
Yeah, I tell you. But you know, when you stop doing your activities, when you stop doing the things that make you happy, that's when you get old.
That's when you sit down and die.
That's right.
Absolutely. I agree.
love it. I want to get into the Emmys.
It's one award-winning show, 2 Emmys. We were nominated 9 times.
Nominated 9 times for
Is that
Emmys.
too cool?
1, 2 for a show called Smart Start Kids.
Which is right down my alley because I'm definitely into the kid world.
Yes, I love
figure
it.
if you don't grow up, you can always have something to laugh about.
Yes.
Oh, good point.
Finding the joy. And with children, they're genuine.
Yeah.
So the show was designed by Lee Wing. My buddy Lee Wing went to heaven in 2007.
Lee Wing. Rest in peace, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. Lee called me up and said she was looking for a storyteller or a personality. She came up with this idea of call-in kids, where kids will actually call into a radio show.
Oh, I love it.
And be facilitated by me or a person like me and get introduced to things that people do.
Yeah.
Call up the fire department and says, "Hi, my name is Allison. What do you do?" And they tell her. Or they call up a doctor and say, "Why you have to look in my teeth?" Or "Why does my shot hurt?" Or whatever. And it went well for a year. Once a week, we did it on a radio show. And then she said, "This ought to be on TV."
Yeah.
Well, we were on TV.
You're making this in North Carolina?
Yeah, she's in Durham, I'm in Cary. Once a week, we do this radio show, and the kids would call in and they would ask questions.
Oh, I
and
love
we would
that.
get them to a doctor on the line.
Yeah.
Of course, it's all pre-approved.
Yeah,
but
of
we
course.
get the dentist on the line, or the nurse, or the dog catcher, or whoever they ask. And they would ask questions.
But
and it
kids
went
ask
very
the best questions,
They do.
too. Yeah.
And for 30 minutes, it doesn't take long for you to run out of questions.
No.
Why doesn't the sun come back at night? I said, because it's taking a break.
Kids say what everybody's thinking.
Yes. They have no filters.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to know the truth, do not ask a child. They will tell you.
Listen, so I have a 10-year-old, as I said, 5th grader at McDougal, and when all her buddies come over all the time and they play in our house in our living room and on the trampoline, I could make a show just from that. Every time I'm like, oh, this conversation should be on the radio or should be recorded or whatever.
Some of them you don't want to talk about.
So between Deej, myself, and Willa, 2 Emmys combined between the three of us.
That's not bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 0.667.
So if you look at it that way, it's
Nice.
ridiculous.
Okay.
So tell us about that first Emmy. What was the experience like?
Oh, it was so cool. You know how you watch the award shows and they walk the red carpet and they go up and they stand at the microphone? Well, I was loud.
I bet.
And they said, and the winner is Smart Start Kids. And I hollered, woo!
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I had to calm down because I thought somebody might know me.
So were you sitting at home and someone called you and said...
I was actually at the awards. We were in the regional awards, and these were in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where's the Grand Ole Opry?
Nashville.
yeah.
So we were in Nashville, and it was a joyous evening.
Yeah.
And the sad part is Lee didn't go on that particular event, but she's at home and she can see it on TV via whatever it was, and she's jumping around, and she and Cliff are dancing about, and they're having the best time because who would have thought you came up with this wonderful idea, and the quality is so delightful that you win an Emmy.
Out of all the different choices that are out
Out of
there.
all the choices they had to choose from.
Yeah.
So yes, I strutted up there in my cowboy
Heck
boots
yeah,
and
you
my velvet dress and gold cowgirl boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody needs some of those.
Oh,
It was
I
cool.
do.
Yeah.
It was.
I bet.
It was one of those Cheshire cat kind of moments. You know, you couldn't stop grinning.
I love
Did you sleep that night? I don't know if I could sleep.
It was very late when I finally went to sleep.
bet.
But Willa, so you do this show and you get nominated a bunch of times before you win. Was there something special about the Emmy winning seasons, or was it just finally the audience caught up or something?
It's amazing. The woman that kept beating us out only had a 30-minute show.
Really?
We had a 30-minute show too, but it was just a small part of that show.
Yeah.
But whatever she was doing, she did it well because they liked her enough.
Yeah.
And then she moved out of our category into another category.
Yeah.
And so we zoomed back in.
Freed up some space for
Yeah,
you.
just a little bit. Just being nominated says that the quality of the show was delightful. And
I love it.
We like being
feels good.
nominated, but we like it even better when we win.
If we go back on YouTube, do you think we could probably find some old clips? I bet.
Yes,
Yeah.
you could. As a matter of fact, WRAL Smart Start Kids, you can see all 72 episodes.
Oh, that's
cool.
where I'm headed right
Yeah.
there. I
it
need
out.
some good wholesome programming in my
I
house.
know.
It's for young children getting ready to go to kindergarten. We went to places all over the state and found things of interest to talk about. We went to places where most folks don't get to go. We went to the zoo, but we got to ride in the truck to see them feed the animals.
VIPs,
We went to the university and we were in the costuming department, so we were trying on all the costumes. It was the kind of thing that you say, wow, I never thought I'd be at the museum and I see the animals they're getting ready to put on display as opposed to those that are already there.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. And from the mountains to the oceans we went, and people were always delighted, and parents were always calling, is there another space? Which was really cool, because now you got a waiting list. Well, we're only going to be in that area for one day.
Oh, that's interesting. So you did do some stuff like on location? Like
everything was on location. We went to, we met potters that made pottery down in Seagrove, and we went up in the mountains and found out what a ramp was, because I had no idea.
Like an onion.
It's a wild onion.
Yeah,
exactly. We were at Bridal Falls, and we went behind the falls to check it out because it was so cool.
Wow.
We went to see a guy who was making wood carvings, and he showed us how it was done. We went to meet a woman who was weaving. It was cool.
That sounds incredible.
And the beach. We went to the ocean and flew kites by a guy who taught us all how to make kites on the ocean. It was nice.
I probably don't have to tell the audience this, but Willa's a storyteller, an eloquent speaker.
It's kind of her thing.
Well,
listen to that voice. Oh, and she has a couple of CDs as well. I've got some of your music queued up.
Really?
Willa, we'll get into a little bit later, but 6 CDs, a mixture of songs and poems.
And stories, yes.
Stories.
Because it depends on the audience. When you're teaching children, and that's my first love because we're all children, I like the seniors and I like the children. And I started laughing when I started performing for seniors and became a senior.
Seniors and children.
What?
Seniors and
You're not a
children.
senior.
I said, get out of here. I'm entertaining myself. That is just too cool.
So when did you realize that you had a gift?
Oh, when I
you were a
talked
little
so
kid, or?
much and my mother said I just would not shut up. My granny called me a little parrot.
Okay.
Because I was a yacker. But I have 4 brothers, 2 brothers older and 2 brothers younger.
Right.
And I had to get in there because if you didn't, you lost your space.
You got to speak up for yourself and get yourself in there.
And so my personality is my mother. I am doing what my mother would have done had she been given the opportunity.
Willa, how did it manifest itself? Like in middle school, grade school? Are you talking like you're doing poetry contests? You're doing debate? Like how did your voice kind of flourish?
Interesting. I did none of that. They wouldn't let me sing in the choir because they said I had a monotone.
What?
Yeah. So all of this has come about since I became a mature woman and left home. So it's interesting. Sometimes you have to leave your immediate environment to blossom.
So you found your voice.
Yeah. I've always been independent and I've always been a straight shooter, but I wasn't in the choir. I wasn't with the debate. Well, we didn't have a debate team, but I didn't do any of that. In college, I took classes, speaking classes, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
You had 5
University
minutes.
of Indiana.
Indiana University, Bloomington. But before that, HBCU, Alabama State University. This is my 50th year of graduation. Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Oh, I love it.
What city is that in?
Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, gotcha.
HBCU, such important institutions.
Oh, yeah. Without it, where would I be?
Got to keep them going. Got to keep them funded and respected. And
make your donation. Leave it in your will. It's okay if you give us part of your 501c.
Yeah.
We'll take your money.
Do it through this show. We'll take a small fee, just like 10%. And,
I could never.
It's just as simple as that. I love my wooden hat. Don't worry about me as I strut across the stage. Don't worry about my body. Don't worry about my age. It's not me they're looking at. It's my 9-hole wormy wood maple hat. It's a 9-hole wormy wood maple. It's a wooden hat. Wormy wood maple, and that's a fact. Turned from a tree that had fallen to the ground, 100 pounds heavy, it's big and it's round. Who would think that a stump like that could be turned into to a wooden hat. I love my hat. I love my hat. It's just as simple as that. I love my wooden hat. 16 coats of stain to protect it from the rain. A wide brim hat keeps the sun off my back. A custom-made job that fits just right. Won't have a problem cause my hat's too tight. It's a 9-hole wormy wood maple. It's a wooden hat. A 9-hole wormy wood maple. And that's a fact. Don't worry about me as I strut across the stage. Don't worry about my body. Don't worry about my age. It's not me they're looking at. It's my 9-hole wormy wood maple hat. Chris Ramsey has a hobby of turning wood. He made his wife a bowl and it looked so good. Thought he'd make a few and just like that, the bowl was the start of the wooden hat. I love my hat. I love my hat. It's just as simple as that. I love my wooden hat. Wearing my hat is so much fun. I wear it in the rain, I wear it in the sun. Everybody wants to touch my hat, but I'm not going to stand for that. It's a 9-hole wormy wood maple. It's a wooden hat. A 9-hole wormy wood maple. And that's a fact. I love my hat. I love my hat. It's just as simple as that. I love my wooden hat.
Wooden Hat by Willa Brigham, Deej.
Off of Midnight Quilter?
And
Yeah.
let me
Very
tell you,
cool.
a beautiful song, but also this woman, in addition to all these accolades, I've never seen a better hat collection.
Wow.
There's a lot of pictures of you online, and look, tonight you got a fascinating thing going on. Look at this one, like a top hat situation.
No, that song is not about the blue hat you're wearing, and it's
Nope.
not about the black hat in
Nope.
the picture, but
The 9-hole wormy wood maple. Chris Ramsey out of Somerset, Kentucky. I was going to a performance in Rutherford,
yep.
and
Kentucky.
we came back through Asheville, zooming down the highway, and I saw the sign, Folk Art Center. Well,
Gotta go.
I gotta go. I said, Lovey, turn it in. That's what I call my Lovey. Ronald Lovey. So Lovey turns in, and I'm prancing up the stairs, and I'm looking at all of these wonderful arts, handmade works, one-of-a-kind beauties. There are silk scarves, and there are paintings, and there are weavings, and I turn the corner, and there are wooden hats. I'm talking about sun hats, baseball hats, derbies, top hats. What?
Yeah.
I didn't know such a thing existed.
And they're for wearing.
And it's a wearable piece of art.
Wow.
Oh, man. I said, Lovey, I need to have this hat. He said, baby, you need to pay your car rent. I said, baby, really?
By the way, you're always decked out and styling. You always look wonderful. And just the hat collection is really impressive.
Mama said, look good for yourself.
I like it.
Yeah, good.
And if
Nice.
somebody else likes it, that's fine too.
You seem like a very much a self-care.
I am, and
person.
I preach it because women so easily get carried away taking care of everybody else, and don't spend enough time taking care of themselves. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to have the energy or the desire, or you resent having to take care of everybody else.
Yeah. Plus, there's Deej, who looks like he slept in his car last night. No, I'm kidding.
Shush.
We have so much to get to, Deej.
I know.
A couple quick questions from the audience. So,
Yes.
Zoe S. to protect anonymity.
Yes.
First grader in McDougal is asking about the performance. Are you coming to my classroom? So what is the setup for that?
No,
Do you
I'm
know?
actually going to K through 2, if I'm not mistaken.
This is the McDougal event.
Yes.
I think that's a lot of our audience goes to school there.
Yes, Monday morning at 9, K through 2, and I'm telling stories, singing songs with interactive behaviors.
Probably in the gym.
In the gym.
Okay, so there you
Or
go.
wherever their auditorium place is where they bring a speaker.
Are you going to have a band there with you, or are you going to play?
I am solo.
What's your instrument? What do you like to play?
The voice is what I talk with. I make it ring and rhyme, and I can do it with my voice. I do it every time.
Yeah.
Woo!
So thank you, Zoe S., for the question. I love the song about the hat. I love the story. You put out albums with songs and poems and stories.
Yes.
A song is basically a story set to music.
Exactly.
But how do you decide, Willa? How are you like, okay, this one's a poem, this one's a song? How do you decide which?
If a beat comes to me while I am writing it, it is a song. If the beat does not come, I write it as a poem. It's in me.
You just feel it.
I feel it. And depending on where I am or what the song is about. I mean, how many people, Dirty House Blues, really? How many folks write about the fact that they don't like to clean their house?
You've got some doozies here.
I just think it.
Yeah.
And so, for me to get through it, I thought it was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Dirty House
I listened
Blues.
to that song today. I'm going to try to play it if I can pull it up.
Now, do you find that your songs are just timeless and all kids can relate to them through the years, or do you have to kind of update things?
No, once it's out there, it is done. I'm getting money from CD Baby. I wrote an album back in 1993. Or was it 95? I wrote the songs in 93. I think I recorded about 95. Healthy Happy Habits is still today just as strong and healthy as it was when I wrote it. Everybody needs to wash your hands every day. Wash them nice and clean.
I love it.
Wash your hands every day. Now that's the song I sing.
Yeah, it's true.
It's all right. All right.
But do kids maybe need to, hear about like staying off social media or anything?
No, that's not my. I don't do that one.
Okay.
That's somebody else's role.
Gotcha.
They're called parents.
That's true.
Come on.
But I do the things that you're going to use for the rest of your life.
Okay.
If you really want something, say please. If somebody gives you something, say thank you.
Yeah.
If you want someone's attention, say excuse me. Don't tap them on the arm until the arm is black and blue. If you want someone's attention, say excuse me.
Yeah, good advice.
All right.
Timeless.
All right.
You're writing a poem and a beat comes and you're like, okay, this is going to be a song. Then what? Do you have a band that you work with? Do you lay it down on guitar?
Here's the reality.
Yeah.
I have never sang with a band on any of my CDs.
Really?
So what was that?
I have a guy who knows music.
He makes it?
I go in, I literally sing my song, and he finds the beat and where it goes and
my
put it
goodness.
in.
Wow, cool.
Is that too cool?
Can we give him a plug? Is it the
Yes,
same?
his name is Jimmy Brown.
Jimmy Brown.
Jimmy Brown, the music man.
Yeah.
He takes care of business. I go in, I say, I've got 10. He says, all right, let's go for 5 today, and we'll do 5 tomorrow.
You get together and bang him out in the studio?
Yes, he does. His studio is his living room.
Where?
He's in Raleigh.
In North Carolina?
Yeah. He's
Jimmy
in Raleigh.
Brown.
Jimmy
Very cool.
Brown. It's amazing because I laugh at myself. When I did one, I did it with another guy, and he was in Chapel Hill. And he has the nerve to go off to India to Zen. He's so cool. I forgot his name.
I think she's a Beatle or something.
Sounds like some Chapel Hill folks I know.
I'd say so.
But a really cool dude. He's the one that did Midnight Quilter with me. So that was nice because Jimmy was busy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Another question from Zoe, real quick. So again, you're doing this school performance. When did you start going to schools? Because you do a lot. You perform on cruise ships. You've performed all over the country.
Yeah.
Is schools your bread and butter? Or talk us through a year of performances.
Have contract, will travel.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to a place because we love to travel,
Yeah.
I could not marry him unless he was a man who wanted to travel.
Yeah.
Because I said, what's the use of marrying this man if he doesn't want to travel? I'm going to leave him. So
You got to go.
so I got one that likes to travel, that loves to travel. As a matter of
Good,
fact.
Yeah.
So wherever I'm going, I let people know I'm coming.
Yeah.
And I give them an opportunity to have me in their space while I am there.
Oh, I love
the
it.
cruise ship deal was a pretty easy one because I was already there and we were getting ready to disembark. And people are just sitting around. And I went to the activities director and said, hey, I'm a reasonable woman, but I've got a skill that you might want, especially now, but you got to pay me something. She says, how about, she gave me some tickets to something and something, whatever it was.
Okay.
It was minimal, but I felt like I was getting paid for the deal.
Okay.
And I did storytelling until folks got off the ship, and it was hilarious. Folks were yelling and screaming and joining me in, and I love to sing, so everybody was a part of the show. I have learned that when you bring your audience along with you, you don't have to worry about them chit-chatting with somebody else while you're doing your thing.
So you engage the audience right from the very beginning.
From the beginning.
They're part of the conversation.
Let me hear you say, boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, boom. Your turn.
Boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, boom. Hot dog, boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, boom. And that's what they heard when the mighty lion roared early in the morning.
Wow.
All right?
Willa, you are mesmerizing.
Thank you.
I'm so in. Okay, but again, school gigs have been going along.
School gigs have been going on quite some time, ever since my children started school. I started telling stories. My girlfriend said I was embellishing things long before I had children.
Oh.
We do that here on this show.
No, we don't. Yes, we do.
But with the children, I would read them stories and I would tell them stories, and they got to the point where they say, will you tell us one? And I got that recently. Little girl says, tell us. I gave them a choice.
Yeah.
I was in a classroom. I do residencies as well. I teach them good manners in story, songs, and poems.
Oh,
I teach them diversity, inclusiveness in story, songs, and poems, and crafts. So I do stand and deliver, where I'm teaching 6th graders how to speak better, getting rid of the ums, the uhs, and all of that kind of stuff.
Any tips for that? How do you get rid of the ums and ahs?
Stop and breathe. Think what you want to say. Now say it.
Sandwich. not a single or
That was very eloquent, though.
Yeah.
With brown bread and butter.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you
Delicious
have to
turkey and mustard. Sorry, got excited.
with a tall glass of Kool-Aid, if you please.
Orange,
Please.
I prefer.
Okay.
So it sounds like you need to just kind of relax and prepare. That's kind of the big two.
Yes.
Okay.
Stop. Anytime you go, and you know what I'm saying, and that means you are trying to track what you're trying to say. The reality is, you know what you're trying to say. Just stop and let it come, and then deliver.
Good tips.
That is beautiful. And then back to the songs. How do you know? Okay, I guess maybe this doesn't matter as much now that I'm talking to you a little bit, but whether it's you have some children's albums and you have some adult albums.
Yes.
How do you know if a thought or a song, a poem fits on which one?
It depends on the level. Children, of course, I keep it young.
Yeah.
Because I have found if you teach them young, they'll carry it with them all of their days.
Some things are obvious.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with my other stuff, it just depends on the audience. When I wrote Your Blues Ain't Like My Blues, I was watching a movie, and this girl was throwing a fit because this guy had left her and she was carrying on like a crazy woman. I'm thinking, girlfriend needs to chill out.
Yeah.
Because she said, you just don't know. Your blues ain't like mine.
Oh.
And I thought, whoa, that's a line.
Wow, it is. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard, not gonna be easy, but you can be what you want to be. It's gonna be hard, not gonna be easy, but you can be what you want to be. If you will listen to me, children, there's nothing that you can't do. George Washington Carver was the peanut man. He found 300 ways to use that seed. He took the sweet potato and he did the same thing. Do you think he just sat down upon his knees? No, it's gonna be hard, not gonna be easy, but you can be what you want to be. It's gonna be hard, not gonna be easy, but you can be what you want to be. If you put your mind to it, there is nothing that you can't do. When you have a goal for your future, many people will try to hold you back. You put one foot forward and you keep on stepping. You can't accomplish your goals just being lax. No, it's gonna be hard, not gonna be easy, but you can be what you want to be. It's gonna be hard, not gonna be easy, but you can be what you want to be. If you've listened to me, children, by now your mind is free. It's up to you, you'll see. It's up to you, not me. Just be what you can be. Yeah!
That's a good tune right there, Deej.
Off of the What You See album.
Yay. Thank
Well,
you.
who are some of your influences?
Maya Angelou.
Of course, yeah.
But Ella Jenkins.
Who's that?
A woman out of Chicago, African-American woman that would travel from school to school, and she played a little ukulele.
Oh, okay.
And the first time I heard her, we were living in the area, and I had taken my children to the library to see her. And she did the number, Did You Feed My Cow? Yes, ma'am. Will you tell me how? Yes, ma'am. How did you milk my cow? Yes, ma'am. How did you milk her? Squish, squish, squish. Did my cow get sick? Yes, ma'am. Was she covered with tick? Yes, ma'am. How did she die? So I figured if she could do that, goodness knows I could too.
Yeah.
So I started singing. Well, I've always sang, but I started making up songs for my children, my sons, and it just continued.
Yeah.
And then when they went to preschool, I'd go in as a volunteer, or I'd go in and do a program for the teachers or the school or whatever.
Right.
And then people just offered to pay me, and I thought, whoa. You can get paid for this.
I can make a little money doing this.
I could do this. I mean, anytime you get asked to be the speaker at your elementary school's graduation, and she said, that's the first time I ever had anybody to have the children talk back to her during her presentation.
That's an important day for folks, and that's a big day, and you'd be the perfect person for that. So you engage the audience. I imagine you do some small events for 10, 15, 20, and then some events for 200, 300, 400. Is there a perfect audience size?
No.
Can the audience be too big?
I put the body in the seat.
Yeah.
I've got a story from birth to death. Who do you tell a story to? Anybody that shows up.
Yeah. But are you trying to go to Madison Square Garden and talk to 10,000 people? Or, I mean...
I would.
Yeah. Deej, text him right now.
All right. Yeah.
I could.
Mr. Nolan, have you ever gotten to perform for any of your idols or anyone that you just spotted someone in the audience and be like, wow?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good one.
Or like at a Lifetime Award for someone
remember.
like a Maya Angelou or something.
Yeah,
like that.
not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that I can remember. See, I'll go home and say, don't you remember so and so? And I'll say no.
Just make it up. Our audience will believe you.
Okay.
Really? Oh, well.
I think it was really cool. One of my instructors from college was in the audience.
Yeah, that's
when
good.
I did a conversation in Alabama.
Well, wait, it says here you performed at the Obama inauguration. Is that not right?
Not quite. It wasn't me. That was my cousin.
Check the facts.
Very close.
Who does the research for this show? It seems like you could do... Oh, and I saw a commercial, like a video on YouTube that you did for the Scrap Exchange in Durham.
Oh, I wrote that theme song. Thank you very
cool.
much.
It's a cool video. It's a lot of fun.
I love them.
Yeah.
When we moved here in 93. We lived in 15 states in 20 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
The U.S. Marine Corps and corporate America.
That'll do it.
And it was right down my alley because, once again, I always wanted to travel. And anytime he says, we're moving out, I said, pack us up. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I figure you can have a good time anywhere.
You're a Rolling Stone.
And we did.
Yeah.
We did. I am my mother's wanderlust child.
Yeah,
I'm the only one that
wanderlust.
left home and continued to I just want to see. I want to know what is it. We just got back from South Dakota. Not many black folks in South Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful sight.
Yeah.
Just to see God's great creation.
Yeah.
You know? Salt Lake City, Utah. Wow.
Also not a
the
lot of...
Sequoia.
Yeah.
No, not a lot
Not
of
a lot
us
of
there
black
either.
folks.
But I met some folks from Africa. I said, how did you guys get to Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
And they were placed there by some agency when they were trying to find places for people to be. And I have found that they put people that are coming in areas that are less populated so they can be more comfortable to get ready. Once you're comfortable with the place, you can go anywhere you want to, but they give them a comfort zone.
That needs to happen in my hometown. I'm from Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay.
Great city, but just declining population.
Yes.
We could easily use 50,000 more residents. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we have all these problems of housing and this. And I'm like, send them to Huntington. Send good people to Huntington, West Virginia.
Why not?
I know.
give them some trades, some skills.
People want to do the right thing if you put them in the position to do the right thing.
They need a little help. Many people need a little help.
So you're all over the place. Why were you in South Dakota again? I'm sorry if I missed it.
Vacation.
Just for check it out.
On that basket list of things to do.
Yeah.
He says, where are we going this year? I said, where haven't we been? Mount Rushmore. We hadn't been to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
My face was not up on that rock.
Not yet. It's coming.
There's hope.
We'll blast off Teddy Roosevelt or something.
I mean, come on. They've been working on Sitting Bull for the last, 30, 40 years?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over this. Back to the scrap exchange thing.
Yes.
How did that come together? Did you have the idea? Did they come to you?
I had the idea.
Okay.
I was on the board when I first got here back in 95, 96.
Yeah, you're on a lot of boards.
Yeah, I have been, but I also know my time is precious, and you can't give your best to everybody, but you can give your best to a one or two.
Yeah.
So I will not be on more than two at a time.
Smart.
But I loved them, and I loved what they were doing, and I said, you guys need a theme song. So at the time, her name was Pat. What is Pat's name? Doggone it.
Pat from the Scrap Exchange.
Pat from the Scrap Exchange. Yeah. Hoffman. Pat Hoffman.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, she was here for years, and then she moved back to Massachusetts and then New Hampshire to be with her family, to take care of her dad and my mom.
Okay.
But she says, well, Willa, you're the one to write one. I said, yes, I am. And I literally wrote the song, and we sang it for a long time.
Yeah, it's a cool video. You should check it out. I'll post it on our Facebook group.
And it's still one of my favorite places to be.
And it's a cool, unique place, and it takes an interesting person like you, I think, to bring out the best in it.
A lot of my supplies come from the Scrap Exchange, and I make art with it because you have to go down there and get stuff. They recycle. It gives something another life.
So Willa's got some beautiful artwork. Talk about this artwork. Look at this thing. Tell them about this.
We've got a
mat.
Mat.
Yeah. But it's a fidget mat.
Okay, what's that?
A fidget mat.
For a kid that...
For a child or an adult that needs to have something to play with. It's especially effective with special children.
That's a fantastic thing for
my brother, PTSD. He calms down when he's having a moment, and for visually impaired persons. Yeah. So it's nice to play with, and I double stitch everything to make sure they don't pull it off because we don't want anybody putting anything in their mouth.
Yeah, so for the folks at home, it's sort of a cloth mat with
it
different
looks like
shapes
a placemat
and textures.
Yes. Exactly. Different textures, different items to play with. Just literally, it's a fidget mat, so you play with it.
Pearls and shells and buttons and snaps.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stationery here, too, Deej.
How about that? These are original pieces that I made and then turned them into note cards.
Cool.
That's burlap. That's felt. Leftover buttons. Once again,
very creative.
Live it again.
Willa, do you make this stuff to sell or just for fun?
I actually sell it. When I go to an event, I usually take
put a little table with some merch.
Yeah, if somebody wants to purchase my wares, that's great. And if they don't, I'm all right with that.
Well, I definitely want to purchase the book if you brought it.
I did.
Ooh, very
I did.
I assume you'll autograph it for
I
me.
will.
Okay, and then maybe one other piece too for Dr. J. That's my better half, Willa.
All righty.
Beautiful artwork. That's really impressive. And also, I'm seeing she has the cover there. She was Carrie Magazine's Women of Western Wake front cover, Deej. Look at that, 2020.
Wow.
Another cool hat. Look at that hat.
Wow.
I'm a big Kelly Green guy. Look here.
Oh, you too?
That's my color right there.
Now, green is my color. I believe green has new energy. It's the beginning of something new.
Yeah.
It stays with you. It's continuum. You breathe easy.
Yeah,
life,
me and
it's
green
growth.
have a good life.
Yeah.
That's cool. And obviously you live in Cary, so it was cool that they put you on the front of their magazine. It's about time. What took them so long, Willa?
I don't know. I was shocked that I was on the cover of the magazine. My neighbor came running. Do you know you're on the cover of this magazine? And I'm thinking, no. I knew I was going to be in it. I didn't know I was going to be the cover.
Let's hear a little more. Let me give you a little taste of what you see, Deej. This Miss Angelou. Here we go.
Maya. I'm going to see Miss Angelou. I'm going to see her today. I'm going to see Miss Angelou. Don't put no obstacles in my way. I've cleaned the house, chased one strange spouse, and I've mopped the kitchen floor. I've ironed your shirt, rearranged the dirt, and I'm headed for the door. The mirrors shine, the furniture's wax, and the bathroom is squeaky clean. So don't you say one thing to me, honey. I might just have to get mean. I'm going to see Miss Angelou. I'm going to see her today. I'm going to see Miss Angelou. Don't put no obstacles in my way. The beds are all made, the clothes are all laid, and I'm sharper than Billie Jean. Stepping out of this door today, I could be anybody's queen. I'll place my son upon my hip, and I'll carry him like a packet. I'll pack him toys and food and drink in case he makes a racket. It's raining outside, but that's no big deal. My umbrella is in my hand. And if it gets warm while I wait for her, I'll carry a handheld fan. My mind is made up and I won't be stopped. So get out of my way, dear man. For today I see Maya Angelou and hear girlfriend raise some sand.
That is Miss Angelou by Willa Brigham, our guest
Very
tonight,
cool.
Deej.
And I did go to see her, and I wrote that poem as a result of going to see her, because there were some drawbacks. Lovey was supposed to come home from work so I could go and he was going to take care of the baby so I could go see Miss Angelou. But he called up and said, I can't come. I've got a meeting.
Lovey.
Come on, Lovey.
But my mother always said there's more than one way to slap a cat.
Oh, good one.
So I packed my baby up. I put him on my hip. I took him all the stuff necessary to keep him quiet.
Yeah.
I made sure I sat in the rafters so just in case he threw a fit, I wouldn't be interfering with her. And it was wonderful just to see her on stage doing her thing.
Have you ever gotten into, obviously you're a performer. What about acting? Well, obviously you had a TV show.
Yeah.
You're a performer just through and through.
Yeah.
Any acting gigs?
Yes. When I first got here, I was in a theater company.
Which one?
I don't know. It was... It was hilarious.
Are you making that up?
No, it's not. I was part of a theater company, but we were dinner theater. The people would come to dinner, and we would entertain during dinner. And we stayed in our roles. I remember I was enslaved, and I said, I can't play this. They said, play it any way you want to. Oh, I was the sassiest woman you ever met.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Mrs. Peach, I have told you already, I'm not going to give you that hat because it looks bad on you. You need to wear something that's going to give you some color. I don't know what we're going to do with Birdie. She's just so sassy. We just can't let folks see her acting like that. Mr. Peach, you need to do something. Mr. Peach, you want me to tell your wife? I didn't think so.
That was an audition.
Wow.
I think we just got an audition.
Yeah,
Deej.
you got the part.
Hold on. Here's what's going to happen. I'm just calling this right now. I'm saying it live on the air for everyone to hear. There's going to be a movie about Maya Angelou in a couple of years about the life of, and you're going to play her.
Oh,
our guest. I said it here on the show, Deej.
I'm in.
Willa Brigham's you're going to play her. There'll be three, right? It'll be her whole life. So they'll have a little kid, and then the middle, and then you'll be the
mature woman.
The mature.
Yes.
I'm calling it now, Deej.
Yay.
So, Willa, you've got some great album titles here. I'm intrigued by more than a couple of them.
Okay.
I feel like Midnight Quilter is a story.
Oh, it is. I am a quilter. I am a folk art quilter, meaning my lines are not going to be straight and my seams not going to be perfect, but I'm going to have a beautiful piece of work that I enjoy creating. And the best part about that is I am a midnight quilter, because when the family goes to sleep and everything is quiet, that's when you can do what you do, whatever brings you joy. And so I turn on the music. I mean, me and Motown have a real good time. The music is going. I might have a glass of wine on the side because it's chill and it's after midnight, and I have the pattern ready and the fabrics feel good in your hand and your sewing machine is humming. Oh, honey, it is some kind of good going on in your room.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
It is.
It's a whole experience.
It is. And so when I wrote the song about being a midnight quilter, I put in all the elements that are true. We do stay up all night long. We do choose fabrics that make us happy. We choose the ones that are bright and bold and shows our personality. And we stitch them one at a time when we feel like it. We add little accoutrement, embellishments.
Well put.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And then you finish with the quilt. That's the best feeling when you say, I did that.
Yeah. What are some good songs or artists to quilt to?
Ooh, anybody that has a nice beat. I like Sam Cooke.
Oh, yeah.
I come from an era where a woman of a certain age liked those smooth ones. I like Solomon Burke. I'll go all the way back to Buddy Rich. Is it Buddy Rich?
The drummer, right?
Yeah. Of course, there's Tina Turner, Aretha, and I gotta give my girl Martha Van Vandellis backup love.
Yeah.
But those guys, and then there's Lionel Richie, and then there's Yanni, because he has this really cool sound. And then I listen to smooth jazz like, what's my guy? I just saw him at the Museum of
Kenny
History.
G?
Kenny G. There you go. I saw him at the Museum of History, and he's still that tall. But does he play a mean horn?
He can play it.
He's got that hair, too, though.
Oh, yeah. And he still looks like he did 20 years ago.
One of the coolest things I ever learned about Motown was that one guy played bass on like almost every song. James Jamerson. He was uncredited, but like just almost. He was on like 75% of the classic Motown songs.
And unfortunately, he didn't get his kudos, but he got his paycheck. He should have gotten more, but that was a time.
Yeah.
Things are better.
That's good,
So, and everybody gets their credits.
Yeah, as they should.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Deej doesn't get much credit, but he doesn't do much.
No.
Deej carry his weight.
I do what I can.
Deej is the glue that loosely holds this show together.
Well, that's great.
So,
okay, now, who is Stinky Johnson?
Stinky Johnson, my son Jarret. Bless his heart. My baby's in heaven.
oh,
And that hurts.
I'm sorry.
Me too. But he was constantly giving me a hard time about brushing his teeth. I'll get back to it later. I'm going to brush him after I eat. I'm going to brush... Jarret, you don't want to be Stinky Johnson. He asked, who's Stinky Johnson? So me and my quick mind,
Yeah.
the little boy that didn't want to brush his teeth and his breath stank.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Stinky Johnson. Well, every day the story evolved.
Yep.
It wasn't a little boy anymore because some child is going to call another child Stinky Johnson. So nowadays the story is Stinky Johnson is the cutest little skunk you ever seen.
Okay.
With big bright eyes, fat cheeks, and a mouthful of teeth that needs brushing.
You moved it away from being a child, but still tell the story.
Tell the story.
I like that.
And the story is still the same. Mama says he's old enough and responsible enough to remember to brush his teeth.
Yeah.
And Daddy says, you're my big boy. You're old enough and responsible. I know you can remember. And of course, he goes to school, he walks down the hall, and everybody says, here comes Stinky Johnson. Now, they only call him Stinky, but he won't listen because nobody wants anybody to call them names. And it's not nice to call names. But he walks into the classroom and says, good morning, Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson says, good morning, Johnson. He gets his work, he goes to his table and says, hi, everybody. And every animal at the table falls out. Peter Possum, Ruthie the Rabbit, Tina the Turtle. And then she has the nerve to say, we're going to have partners today. Everybody needs a partner. Everybody had a partner except Johnson. And then Miss Jackson asked, Alvin, would you please? She used the magic word. She said, please.
Wow.
She's his favorite teacher. She's so nice. So he says, okay. He goes over and shakes Johnson's hand, and Johnson says, hi. And poor fellow falls out. But when he gets himself together, he whispers in Johnson's ear so he doesn't embarrass Johnson because nobody wants to be embarrassed. He says, Johnson, you need to brush your teeth. I only missed 2 days. 2 days. You need to brush every day. All right. But he didn't play with anybody at recess. He went home. His kitty cat met him at the bus. He picked up the kitty cat and said, hi, Snowball. And Snowball fell out.
Oh,
He knew it was true. He needed to brush his teeth.
Oh, my
brush your teeth, folks, every day, twice a day. I think we've just got a couple minutes left. Willa can be found online at willabrigham.com.
Besides the event at McDougal, do you have any other stuff just off top of mind around
Yes,
here? Or?
around here. I'm going to be in Southern Pines. I'm going to be in...
We have friends in Southern Pines.
Yeah, Hillsboro. I'm going to be in...
All right.
Go to my site. I'll update it.
Folks,
So
listen,
you can find it.
Willa, we could listen to you talk all night.
Oh, that's
it's
kind.
fantastic. Do you just carry all these stories in your head? What if you? I mean, because
Yes.
you do 45-minute to an hour long.
Yes.
You did a couple for us tonight.
Yeah, those are short pieces.
What happens if you forget? You just riff and move
I
on.
make it up.
You just go.
I make it up.
Oh my gosh.
I can make up something. The kid says I had residency this week at Central Elementary
Okay.
in Hillsboro, and
Central. Yeah, Hillsboro.
and I told him when I said I can rap and rhyme, I do it every time. I take you with me if you got the
She's
time.
unstoppable.
All right. So of course they challenged me, give me a word, and I'd play with it and give
Okay.
them a little line.
Yeah.
And they thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
But the biggest part is we wrote a poem together. Everybody had to give me at least one line about something they like or
Yeah.
something that made them feel good, and I wrote them a poem. It was the sweetest thing to see the smile on their faces when they heard what they had contributed. That's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, again, we could listen to you all night, but we do have to wrap up here.
We do. It's about that time.
We didn't even get to the news, but I mean, I think we just had so much.
This is the news right here.
Willa is the woman of the now, Deej.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, thanks, Willa. It was great talking to you. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Well, thank you for the invitation, guys. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Willa Brigham,
nice.
BRIGHAM.com, folks. If she's in your town, you're going to want to go check it out.
Go see her.
Thank you.
Deej, anything else from you, sir?
No, we had a wonderful evening with you, Willa. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate you guys.
We're going to go out on fat quarters.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Willa. We'll see you next time.
All righty.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I've got a thing for pretty fat quarters, fat quarters on the table, fat quarters at the store, fat quarters in my shopping cart as I'm walking out the door. Mama, help me please, I have a pile of fat quarters all around my knees. I hide them in the closet, they're stacked against the wall. I need another room, cause they're stacked up in the hall. I hate to admit it, but I can't quit it. I have a thing for pretty fat quarters. I can trade them for a thimble, I can trade them for some thread. And if I'm tired and hungry, I can trade them for some bread. Yes, fat quarters, they come in every shade. Fat quarters with the many quilts are made. Fat quarters stacked up in a pile. Fat quarters a bunch on every aisle. I hate to admit it, but I can't quit it. I've got a thing for pretty fat quarters. My sister had the blues and it put her in bed. My mama gave her a needle and thread. She could stitch herself together in any kind of weather and have a quilt when her stitching was done. Yes, fat quarters stacked up in a pile. Fat quarters a bunch on every aisle. Fat quarters ease your troubled mind. Fat quarters are there for you all of the time. I hate to admit it, but I can't quit it. I have a thing for pretty fat quarters. Oh, I hate to admit it, but I can't quit it. I have a thing for pretty fat quarters.